Hello again. Today we are starting a special series. It's called Successfully Single. One is a whole number. My name is Reverend Alicia Leslie. I am the minister of Spirit of Unity Church, which is online. My goal is to help people to learn how to live happy, healthy lives using spiritual principle. And hopefully you will find that, especially if you're single and not feeling necessarily successfully single. I have, this is going to be several installments because I try to stay within a half hour each installment. And this is a class that I taught at Middlesex Community College a number of years ago. If you're not familiar with me, just to go back a second, you can go to YouTube, go to Alicia Leslie Mundane Mystic. And you will find my playlist of all my different videos there. And I'm going to put this on a special Successfully Single playlist. You can subscribe and like. You can share. And you can just always be knowing when I post a new video. All right. So let me get started with this. Now, I'd like to tell you why I feel that I am qualified to teach this class. I feel that after being married for a number of years and being single for many years, I have learned you can be successfully single. When I was a little girl, I just couldn't wait to grow up and get married and have kids. That's what we were all taught that we were going to do. And that is what the videos, the movies, they didn't have videos on those days. The movies and the songs and everything were about romance and marriage. And you know, from the time you're in kindergarten, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes fill in the blank with a baby carriage. But that's not the way that it always works out. Oh, I had what I thought was love, definitely have marriage, and I had baby carriage several times. But it was not a good marriage, and even though it lasted 17 years, it was not what I would have wanted. So when I thought about it a lot, I realized the issue was that I thought you could just get married and be happy. You know, I didn't realize that you have to pick very carefully. It's not like Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. You don't do any beach blanket bingo that marriage was a lot of work. But I also found out that after my second marriage, that I did not choose well. I chose for the wrong reasons. I chose in a way that I thought would make me whole. Unfortunately, I didn't give it the time and the confidence to wait and make it work. So then I wound up single. And in the beginning, I was very unsuccessfully single. I was unhappy. I did not feel whole. I didn't know what to do. So, over the years, I went to seminary, became a unity minister. Part of our work in seminary was studying relationships. And then I learned a lot of things. First of all, I learned a wonderful affirmation that says, I am a beautiful and beloved child of God, mighty to attract my good. I am a radiating center of divine love. And I learned that I am whole, just the way I am. I know that seems strange maybe to some younger people, but to people who are in my age category, you couldn't even imagine going out alone. You know, oh my gosh, I don't have a date, I don't have a husband, I don't have anybody to go with me. No, I can't go. I learned I could go alone. I went by myself to Egypt. I went by myself to Las Vegas. I went by myself driving cross country. And I was happy. You know, I went where I wanted to go. I ate where I wanted to eat. I ate what I wanted to eat. I didn't have to wonder if I was going to have to split the bill with anybody. And I had a really good time. And I realized that you don't have to have another person sharing your life to have a good life. Would I get married again? Would I don't know. I don't think about it a lot. There was a day I thought I would die if I couldn't have a mate. But I found out that I can be successfully single. So if you are single, I would invite you to try it on. So with the things that I'm going to share with you. So as I say, I feel I earned my right to teach a class on being successfully single. I've studied it. I have lived it. So, you know, sometimes you can have knowledge without having wisdom. You don't need experience to have knowledge. You need experience to have wisdom. So I have both of those. Now, there's a lot of demographics that have to do with feeling you are successfully single, your age, your gender, your life stage, your marital background. You know, so many people are so different. Sometimes, and my heart breaks when I read those stories about the people who have, that get sucked into those marriage dating scams, the online dating things. Oh, I tell you something. Every day there's at least one, and on some days there's 10 of those. Oh, I saw your profile. You look so beautiful. I want you to be my friend, if you don't mind. And usually the English isn't really good, which is probably a clue it's coming from another country. And, don't fall for those dating scams, please. Please, if you don't know them, don't involve yourself. What does being successfully single mean to you? Do you think it means like taking medicine and coping? It's not. It's living life to the fullest. Success is being happy and satisfied with your life just the way it is and optimistic about your future, whether that includes a mate or relationship or not. Success is contentment, and contentment is not settling for what you can get. Now, I'm going to tell you what I won't be teaching you in the next several nights. You are not going to get tips on how to make yourself desirable so you can attract a mate. You will not find out how to make someone else happy. You will not learn how to find someone to make you happy. You will not learn where to go to find eligible members of the opposite sex. And don't even be looking at anyone in your workplace or anything as this goes on and thinking, maybe that's possible. I remember I used to look at any guy, is that the one? Is that the one? Is that the one? You know what? That was desperation. And I will not attempt to tell you what you need to be fixed. That's not mine to do. So all I want to do is to invite you to enjoy. Now, what you will get from this class, you will get some tools. Tools to help you achieve a new relationship with yourself, which is the foundation of all your relationships. Did you know that? Your relationship with yourself is the foundation that's like a house foundation. It holds up. If you don't think you're worthy of a relationship, do you think anybody else is? Now, that doesn't mean to get cocky and think nobody's good enough for you. Don't rush, though. That's something. Okay, so you will learn the freedom to experience life as an adventure. You will experience freedom from neediness and loneliness. You will experience freedom from your own self-imposed prison of limitation. You will receive freedom from past errors and perceived failures. You will get what you are willing to receive. Those are the things that I will provide. Now, a lot of people have nightmares of singlehood. I'm sure we all have them. Ask yourself, what are your greatest fears about being alone? Did you have a vision of the way it would be when, you were in a relationship and it didn't turn out that way? It's okay. Are you afraid of being alone, getting sick, dying alone, not having anybody care about you? You don't need to be single to be in a situation where you live with someone who doesn't care about you. We have to be willing to face our fears. One of the reasons that I was afraid to be single is because I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like if you don't have a husband, there's something wrong with you. What's wrong with you that nobody wants you? Meanwhile, you know what? How many married people were probably thinking, shoot, I wish I was single. Remember that song, oh, I wish I was single again. Well, I'm single again. I've been single again for, let me think, almost 35 years. And that's a little bit almost half my life. I never thought, and I was married 17 well, if I'm counting all the time I was single, I was married for 17 years once and 23 years the second time. That's a total of 20, so out of 77 years, I was married 20 years. But they weren't years I would want to repeat. Okay, you don't need that. Okay, so let's move on. I'm gonna ask you if you think you have a potential for happiness as a single person. Now, if anybody is watching this and they are not a single person, think about the times you may feel like a single person in a marriage, or feel like ways you can support your single friends. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to post these under the comments later so you can review them. So you're going to go over it when you take a look at the document I'm going to post. But for right now, if you've got a piece of paper and pencil near you, might want to scratch down some little answers. But, okay, this is your potential for happiness. Take your time. So we're going to go through it relatively quickly right now, but you can print it out and or just look at it online and answer it at your leisure. Okay. So, let's look at environment. Where do you live? And what do you surround yourself with? Are you happy with it? Is it fulfilling? Do you feel it's you? Do you feel it's the way you want it to be? I remember one day when I was in seminary and I'd been leaving my apartment to go to class, and I had some classical music on, which I sometimes listen to, and I turned it off as I went out the door, and I turned around and looked back at my apartment, and I said, that's me. That's me. Do you feel that way about where you live? That's me. That's where I'm comfortable. Okay, that's the first question. So think about your potential for happiness in your environment. How about your career, work, or business? What do you do with your life? How do you spend your days? Are you happy? Are you happy with the way you spend your hours? Is it fulfilling? Are you content? Do you feel you are giving to life the gifts you have to give? What are you giving to yourself? What are you doing to make yourself happy? Okay. The next area is health and physical condition. Are you happy with your physical condition? How much attention do you give to your physical body? What do you see, think, feel, and say about your body? You gotta love your body. I mean, it's the vehicle you get around in. It comes with 5 magnificent senses so you can see, touch, feel, hear, smell, taste. I must have said something twice. Anyway, if you're not happy with your body, ask yourself why. Now, it doesn't matter if you got old, if you don't have a limb, if you whatever your physical condition is. Do you love that body? That one's going with you for the long run. Think on that. How about money and finance? What's your financial situation? Are you happy with the way that you handle money? You don't need a mate to be able to take care of yourself financially, okay? And having all the money in the world is not going to make a miserable marriage or relationship better. Believe me when I tell you. You know what? There was a time, my second marriage, when it seemed like if things were going bad, we could make them good if we went out and spent some money. We bought something that made us happy, you know. And you know what that led to? Yeah, debt. And you know what that led to? Fights. And you know what that led to? It wasn't happiness. Okay. Basically, do you feel blessed or do you feel you're lacking? That's very important. Okay, how about your relationship with family and friends? How satisfying is your circle of family and friends? Are your family and friends supportive of you and your dreams and your desires? Do you spend enough time with family and friends? I know in these past 2 years you can say like, well, you know, we're stuck at home. We can't go anywhere, can't be comfortable, can't fly. Well, there are other options. That's another thing. Don't nail yourself in a freaking box. Get out of the box. A box is a coffin, okay? All right. So, yes, I stay connected with my family through video chats, telephone chats, what I can do. So, but that doesn't even mean if you can do all that stuff if it's not quality. People can live next door to each other and not have a quality relationship. How about your personal development? Are you happy with your life and activities? What are you doing to continually grow? Taking any classes? Getting any exercise? Getting out there? Here's a tough one for you. This is a big part of your potential for happiness. Is there something inside of you dying? Is there an unwritten book? Is there a skill or talent? A guitar that's languishing in the corner, waiting for someone to pick it up and play it? Yep. Okay. Now, fun, recreation, spare time, and creative hobbies. What can you do to just relax and have fun? Do you do things you can relax and have fun, or are you all business? Do you have a to-do list that's so long you'll have to live 3 lifetimes to finish it? I don't know. How often do you do these fun things? Movie theaters are open. I'm a movie kind of gal. Yep. Do you allow yourself to enjoy things, or do you feel guilty? Guilty as charged. One of the biggest challenges I have is actually taking time to shut the world out and write. So my novels are waiting to be finished. Got 2 out there, 1 on the way. Okay, now how about religion and spirituality? Do you have or practice a religious faith, go to church or whatever? Now, you know, it doesn't always have to be a church. I used to belong to Toastmasters, and Toastmasters is a group who practices public speaking. They learn how to do public speaking. And I found it to be one of the most spiritually uplifting groups I ever belonged to, because we would, most of our messages explored our lives, and so that actually was it was very spiritual thing. So it doesn't have to have the name church on it, but I love church. I think everybody should go to church. Is your religious or spiritual life fulfilling or satisfying? Do you feel you are in the church that's right for you? Or do you feel that you are in a church that just doesn't fit? Do you have a connection, a sense of connectedness with something greater than yourself, of faith in ultimate goodness? You know, when we went to the Grand Canyon, I don't think anybody can stand near the edge, not near the edge, behind the safety railings of the Grand Canyon and not see something so powerful. When I went, there was, if you've been to the Grand Canyon, you know, there's these overhangs, and they go in and out. The edge of the canyon's very craggy. And I was on one of the ways that reached out. Now, the little stinkers, dangling their flipping feet off the edge of the overhang, over whatever. There were some young people, kind of, you call them hippies. This was back in the 80s, so they were kind of latecomer hippies. And they were playing Christian, they were playing and singing Christian music, folk music, with their guitars. And they had a dog with a little neckerchief on it and everything. In the meantime, down the way at another overhang was a group of Asian tourists. And they started singing Amazing Grace. Right this minute, I have got goosebumps just thinking of that moment. I was there as a single. I had my family with me, but I was a single. They, my sister and her husband. Pity trip. Okay, but that was a very spiritual moment. So looking in a baby's face, you can't look in a baby's face without thinking about something greater. Okay, well, going to look now at the past. Did you have a happy childhood and youth? Has your adult past been happy? Do you have any unhealed issues from the past? Any of those things can affect your potential for happiness. So just remember, this is just a little quiz we're doing. And again, I will have the gonna post it for you, and I'll post the key to it. So look below the comments when the video is done, and it's going to take me a little while to get it up there, so it's no rush. Ponder the questions in the meantime. Okay, let's look at the future. How hopeful are you for a happy future? Do you fear or anticipate the future? Boy, these days that's kind of heavy, isn't it? So I read them to you to kind of get your senses rolling, and you're going to be able to do this on your own after, and you're going to give yourself a score, and you assign a score out of 10 to indicate how satisfied you are with your life at present. 1 would be very dissatisfied. 10 is very satisfied, and that's how you do the figure it out. I'm not going to read the answers to you. I will post them later, and I'm going to post them at least an hour after I post the quiz, because that'll give you time to really do it and take time. All right. So that is your potential for happiness. Then we ask, are you lonely tonight? You can be lonely, or you can be alone without being lonely. You can also be in a very big group of people and be lonely. This is why when you learn to be successfully single, you're not depending on an outside something to provide you, to prevent you from being lonely. So I have and I will post this as well. This is called a Valentine's Day. Oh, I wanted to tell you a story first. Spirit said, you tell that story. I used to, you have to understand, I am 76 until July 3rd. So I've been around on the planet for a long time. So when I say to people, I used to do this, I worked for the airlines, I was district sales manager for Avon, I was a travel agent, so I talk about all the things that I did. I did them for a period of time. It's just, when you live this long, you do a lot of stuff. So when I was bartending, it was New Year's Eve. And I have what I call my treasure chest. My treasure chest are precious moments that stay in my heart. And some of them seem very insignificant, but you would do good to explore your heart and your mind and look for some treasures and actually write them down and put them in a little treasure chest. So when you're feeling like you don't have any treasures, you'll remind yourself. So anyway, it was New Year's Eve, and I was bartending, and there was this big old, New Year's Eve party came down, and they did the countdown, and they said, everybody's going, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. In this flash of an instant, I made a soul connection with a woman who was sitting at the bar. We just looked at each other, and we knew it's okay. It's okay. That 1 second of time on a New Year's Eve when I was alone in a big bunch of celebrating people. Spirit gave me another spirit to share that moment with. Never saw her again. I just kept on bartending. Okay, so here is a list of things to have a successful single Valentine's Day. It's a survival guide. All right. Celebrate agape style. Send cards to people you hold dear. Can still do it. Electronic cards, BlueMountain.com. Let them know you care. Do something nice for someone dear to you. Babysit and have fun with the kids, making cards for the parents. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Make phone calls to friends and family who live far away. Bring cookies to a neighbor for local firefighters or policemen. Surprise someone anonymously. Leave a flower on their desk or car. Getting a little late for that right now, and I would not leave anything outside tonight in Connecticut for sure. Okay. Now, if you have single buddies, you can get together, have a potluck, or order a pizza. It's about time you could just still order a pizza and watch a movie, or make yourself a pizza or something and watch a movie for yourself. Now, these are the movies I recommend for women. I have recommendations for men, but for women, for Valentine's Day on your own or with the girls, Shirley Valentine, Steel Magnolias, Fried Green Tomatoes, or The Joy Luck Club. Now, for guys, get out the pizza and beer or a movie. Suggestions for guys on their own on Valentine's: Stripes, Apollo 13, Space Cowboys, Field of Dreams, and Blazing Saddles. I'm sure you can find one of those and you'll have a grand time, even if you're all by yourself. I'm having a grand time. Do not watch Look Up tonight, okay? I'm just saying, not tonight. Do that another day. Be your own best Valentine. Treat yourself to a special dinner. Buy yourself a little luxury. You can do that online too. Send yourself a card. Treat yourself to a visit to a spa and a massage. Pamper yourself. Hire a house cleaner to clean the house. Oh yes, even if you only do it once. Leave Post-it notes around the house to remind yourself. You know me, I'm the Post-it queen. The Post-its say, you are great. You are wonderful. You are loved. You are a great friend. You are brilliant. So, I hope that what we shared tonight will help you enjoy a successfully single Valentine's Day and the next day and the next day. So I'm going to be back tomorrow, and we will move on through loneliness and how to be a victor over that. So thank you for sharing the time with me, and know that God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye.